Mayor Miller,
Here.
Ms. Cordova is absent, Mr. Robinson
Here.
and Mr. Rackler.
Here.
Mr. Self is absent. Mr. Merritt,
Here.
Ms. Parker. Here. Mr. Lopez is absent. And then we have the vacant position.
But we do have a quorum, barely. So,
Yes, sir.
if everybody please stand. Mr. Merritt's going to lead us in the invocation and I'll lead us in the pledges.
Our Heavenly Father, we come before you tonight, thanking you so much for all the many blessings that you bestow upon us. Thank you for the ability that we have to come to you through prayer, and we just ask for wisdom tonight as we make decisions that guide the community that we live in. We just thank you for all that you bless us with, especially the gift of your Son, his willingness to come to this earth, be our Savior. All these things we ask through your Son's name.
Amen. Please join me in the pledges. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag of the state of Mexico, the symbol of perfect friendships among the united cultures. Mr. Mitten, welcome. Thank you. We hope that here before too long, you'll be sitting up here at this table. So we'll get all that stuff worked out. So thank you. All right. Now it's time the public comment. It's public comment. The public has an opportunity to provide comment on subjects regarding city business during the public comment period. Speakers' comments will be limited to 3 minutes unless the mayor and/or councilors request more information. The time limit is given in an effort to allow public input, but also to move the agenda forward in a prompt yet efficient manner. All speakers must sign in at the beginning of the meeting. Topics are limited to 6 speakers per topic. I have 2 persons on our list, and I've already misplaced my list. But Mr. Davidson, you're going to talk about city structure.
Ready for that?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, Mayor Miller, and thank you, Council. My name is Mike Davidson. I look back on the service that Chief Kathy rendered to our community as the interim city manager with nothing but full respect and appreciation. I also believe that Chris Moyer left our city in better shape than he found it. I've only had a few interactions with our new interim manager, Mr. Gallegos, and I want to go on record saying personally, I'm very impressed by this gentleman. He is already making positive strides that are beneficial to our city. In a few weeks, we will have a new city manager, and I've heard nothing but good things about him. At the same time, it's hard to ignore the fact that this will be our 5th city manager in just over a year. I understand the circumstances, I understand the reasons, but at the same point, the why really doesn't matter as much as the impact. When I look at this council, I see structure. I see a mayor and a pro tem. I see 4 wards, each with 2 representatives most of the time. We have 5-member committees that have a chair and a vice chair. We have boards with presidents and vice presidents. We have a city clerk and a deputy clerk. Just yesterday, I saw a new ad on social media seeking to hire an HR assistant. But for the most difficult and demanding job in our city government, the city manager, we have no backup, no assistant city manager, no plan B in place. Our only solution when somebody leaves is to hire somebody temporarily and essentially start over. These turnovers, I believe, are hard on city employees. They impact city progress. They affect our citizens. I would urge this council to seriously consider hiring an assistant city manager to serve alongside our new city manager, to share the overwhelming workload, to ensure continuity if someone leaves or retires, to avoid interruptions when the city manager has a day off or gets sick or takes a vacation or attends a seminar. And so our city can be truly proactive and prepare for these situations rather than just simply reacting to them. So thank you all for your time.
Thank you, Mike.
You bet.
Mandy, our county clerk, Mandy Park, to talk about the elections.
Hello, Mandy Park, County Clerk. I came to tell you about a candidate filing day and the general regular local election coming up in November. That will be November 4th. Candidate filing day is August 26th, and it's one day only. And it is city council, mayor, municipal judge, Causey, Dora, Floyd, Elida also have municipalities that will be on the ballot. School boards and our hospital district are all going to be on the ballot this November. The date for filing for those positions is one day only, August 26th. And the people that want to run for those positions do that in my office in the courthouse. They have to be registered in the district they wish to serve prior to the election proclamation being issued, which will happen on August 6th. So you can't just choose to run for the vacant seat because you don't want to run against Miss Parker because she's your friend and she's your neighbor. If she's your close neighbor, you're in her district, you sign up for that seat, not this vacant seat across town. If you have questions, get with me before the 6th of August and make sure that you are currently registered in the seat you want to run for. And I think everybody knows which seats are open and whose turn it is to run. So, any questions?
The 6th would be the date that you could file for a party. August.
You don't even have to file for a party. The elections in odd numbered years are nonpartisan. So you don't even have to tell the people which party you which party you belong to run for school boards and that kind of thing. Since they're nonpartisan, but they would need to be.
Still come in, so.
You could register to vote they have to be registered in the district that they serve prior to the 6th.
I guess that's what I was asking is what date would they have to be registered by to be able to?
Before the proclamation is issued on the 6th. So before the 5th, but that's pushing it. If you're thinking about running, you should already be registered. Get registered today if you're not already registered.
I hope all the incumbents are registered.
They are,
So,
because we do have to check that. And they all live where they serve.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
Election is November 6th and the actual term.
November 4th, Tuesday, November 4th is election day.
Tuesday, November 4th is the election date, but
Yes.
then that's position begins.
January 1, 2026.
Very good.
The people who win those elections take office January 1. With the exception of maybe Mr. Elkins, if you do not appoint before then that person could take office immediately, but you also have the option of appointing that position and then whoever is appointed run. And Mr. Elkins would have been required to run anyway because of his appointment.
and because that's the end of that term.
And it was the term, yes,
That used to
exactly.
be my term, so.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, anybody else have any questions for me? Thank you, man. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Oh, I also wanted to say I agree with everything Mike said, because we're kind of in the same situation.
Okay. Next item is minutes of the previous meeting. The first is the special meeting of May 29th.
I just seen one thing that needed to be corrected and it just popped out. It wasn't like I was reading through the whole thing, but on page 12. At the top of the page. Where it talks about the Bacchus. It is misspelled, it's BAKA. Should be BAC. On page 12 of the minutes,
And this is on the 29th, correct?
yes. Where it was talking about the,
Easement on.
there's an easement, I think, yeah.
Okay.
Just misspelled Bacchus.
Yeah, it's just got a K in Baca instead of the same.
Okay.
Small change, but just something that popped out.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes as corrected?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Ms. Parker, a second by Mr. Robinson. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Next is the minutes of the regular meeting of June 3rd.
Make a motion for approval.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Parker, second by Mr. Robinson. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Yeah, we had a comment last meeting about some of our emergency procedures with the severe weather and emergency alert communication. So I've asked Antoinette to come give us a brief update on how all that goes, if you don't mind, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council, for letting me speak. Yeah, so we've had some concerns or some questions about how our emergency alerts go out, what kind of alerts we have. So I'll just go over several of the ones that we actually use here in the city and in the county. We use these ones go on both sides. So we do have the HyperReach. If anyone is not signed up for HyperReach, we highly encourage people to sign up. This is going to be a mass notification service that's offered for free to all community members in Roosevelt County. It's offered through a combination between the city and the county. We've worked together to provide this to the community. This is actually a very targeted alert system. A lot of people, let's say the tornado, for example, a lot of people were wondering why they didn't get an alert, the HyperReach alert during the tornado. What this will do is when you sign up using your address and your cell phone number. You can use some other things, but that's what it uses, your address and your cell phone number. So if your address or your cell phone is in the path of that dangerous event, the tornado, that's when you're going to get an alert. Just because the tornado can be seen by thousands of people in the community doesn't mean that you're going to get that alert. You're only going to get it if you are in the direct path and the direct danger of being hit by that. That's why a lot of those HyperReach alerts didn't go out to everybody. When we did have the tornado, we actually had in that 15-minute span that the tornado was on the ground, we had 12 campaigns, alert campaigns that were set out. So just 12 alerts, and each campaign was between 2 people that alerted, very, very targeted, up to 75 people that alerted, some people who were driving near the area or something like that. So these alerts did go out. They did, so it was working exactly how it was supposed to work. Also, another thing, a bonus, Curry County actually uses HyperReach now. So if you sign up for HyperReach here, it actually will still work if you go to Curry County, if there's events over there. And same thing, if Curry County people come down here for work or whatever, that's actually going to still work between them, all of them. So that's a great thing. We were happy when they were able to get that. We have about 2,000 people signed up for HyperReach. We always want more. Like I said, it's a free service. Please sign up. You can go on the city webpage, Portales Government, and there's actually a link up there that you can sign up for. So like I said, that one's very, very targeted. We do have the National Alert System. This one here comes out of it's a National Weather Service. This one comes out of Albuquerque, and they send out a much broader event alert. So it's not necessarily if you're in the path, but if you're kind of in the general area, this alert will go out to everybody. You don't have to sign up for this. This is a service that every citizen in the United States actually is already signed up for, whether or not you want it. It's kind of like the Amber Alerts. If you get woken up at 2 o'clock in the morning, this will get pushed out to your phone no matter what, and it'll let you know that there's a dangerous situation in the area. Not necessarily that you're going to get hit by, but in the area. So if you get that, we want you to be weather aware. Turn on turn on your radio, watch the TV, look at the weather, and see what's going on. Another thing that we use, of course, is our sirens. I know a lot of people were saying that they want the sirens to be louder. We can't do that. Our sirens are as loud as they can possibly be without harming human ears. We do have 6 sirens in the city. We have 4 on each corner of Portales. It's not a square, but somewhere on the corner. We have 1 near Walmart. We have 1 right across the street from RGH. We have 1 on Globe and 18th Street. And we have 1 on Spruce and Avenue O. So that covers our kind of our 4 corners. We have 1 right on top of the campus union building to alert the university immediately. And we have 1 on B between first and second. That's that empty lot where the farmers market sets up every fall. And those will go about 1.5 miles on a clear day. So yes, they're not going to alert everybody when we set them off, because most of the time when we set them off, it's going to be windy. It's going to be a storm. So that will bring down the volume of them. The ones on each corner actually rotates. This is going to be, when it rotates, it actually uses that to create a warble sound. So it's a little bit more noticeable to people, but it's not a solid sound. People will notice it a little bit more. We are currently, the emergency manager for the county is currently working on a grant to improve these sirens throughout the entire county. We have sirens in Elida, Dora, Floyd, Kazi, and the children's home. So this grant will help improve all the sirens in the county. That's counting the ones in the city and the one out in the county, trying to get some more out in the county as well. And see, of course, we do have the news and the radio, our local radio. Luckily, we do have a very, very local radio. When alerts go out, that radio will also try to alert the public. And when all else fails, we actually have had first responders go directly into the path of the danger to alert people house by house to get to get the information out. Now, I know that all of these combined, we're not going to reach 100% of the community, but we want to. That's our goal, is to try to reach 100%. Each individual one is not going to be 100%. That's why we try to get as much as we can to get everybody going. That's why we want people signing up for Hyper Reach. We want people to be aware of the sirens and try to improve on those. And like I said, so it's a multi-agency response. Not one group isn't going to be the one responsible for it. We all work together to alert everybody. And that's pretty much what I have. I'm open for questions if you have any.
Questions?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's about the sirens. One question that was asked of me, and I don't know if anybody else received the same, where do they go? They're wanting to know, do we have tornado shelters? There was people saying, you know, they were directed to the Greyhound Arena. Some of them were going to the other one, the Cub, used to be the Cub. So they were asking if there was churches in the city, in the community that they could go to. And I was talking to the chief from the University, Malden. I think that's something that I need to put on public safety, and we need to discuss that and somehow do some kind of an educational campaign and remind people, now that we're in this season, of what we need to do, stay home, you know, whether you're going to stay home and how to be safe and what they need to do. You know, a lot of them are out running around, and so that causes, if there's flying debris, that could actually cause more damage to them. So I think there's a lot of question and uncertainty as to where they need to go when the sirens go off, or if they stay home, or.
Okay, that's perfect. So thank you for bringing that up, because there are some miscommunications about public storm shelters. The arena is absolutely not a public storm shelter. If the sirens are going off, there's anything, do not go to the Eastern Arena. That is not set up to be a public shelter. There's rumors that this building is going to be a shelter. It is not a storm shelter, so don't come to the Memorial Building. And there's also rumors about the the county courthouse. That's not going to open up. None of these are going to open up during an actual storm. One of the reasons is that there's actually been kind of proven that a lot of injuries happen because they leave the safety of their house to go on the road when there's an active tornado to get to a shelter. That travel time is more dangerous than if you just sheltered in place. If you have a home, a structurally built home, not a mobile home, the best place for you to do is to go inside of your house and get in an interior room put your shoes on, in case something hits a glass, so that way if anything hits, you can get out without harming yourself. Tornadoes in New Mexico, they max out at an F3. It's scary. The one that we had on the last month, it was only an F1. An F2 is what's going to rip off the roof of your house in general. The roof of your house, this is the ceiling. So, I mean, if it happened here, we'd still have the ceiling. It's safe to be in your house. It's scary. I've never had it, but I'm certain it's scary if the roof gets ripped off your house. But you're in a structure that's not going to collapse, most likely from a tornado. So if there's a tornado, you're in a home, shelter in place. If there's a tornado watch out, which is not an actual tornado, it's a tornado watch, just conditions are right. And if you live in a mobile home or a pre-manufactured home, at that time, well, before then, you're going to want to work with family members, friends who are in structured homes. And when that watch happens, that's when you want to take the opportunity to leave your mobile home and go to your friends and families who actually have a safe location. Like I said, we have evacuation shelters that we have to set up, but we do not have storm shelters. So that's what we need to worry about.
And Chris did bring something up that is on our website,
Yes,
so we can direct people to that then directly. Thank you.
Other questions?
Thank you.
Good
you're
job.
welcome.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Very informative. Thank you. Okay. Our next item is the consent agenda. The consent agenda is approved by single motion. Any member of the council may request an item to be transferred to the regular agenda from the consent agenda without discussion or vote. You guys indicated you had a couple of these you wanted to move to the regular agenda.
Yes, sir. Mr. Mayor, I would like to move number 1 and number 3 to regular agenda so we can discuss.
Okay. Are there any others?
Number 4.
Okay. Anything else? So the remaining items on the consent agenda, I will read each item and then we will accept them with a single motion. First item on the consent agenda is resolution number PC 2024-2025-44, variance at 42417 US Highway 70, submitted by Fluffman Outdoor Media for the purpose of building and maintaining a billboard. The next one is resolution number PC 2024-25-47, a replat of 400 South Avenue G, 807 and 809 West 4th Street, submitted by Mario Aguirre for the purpose of dividing the lot into 3 separate lots. And the last one is resolution number PC 2024-25-48, a zone change of 523 West University Drive, submitted by Leslie Salmon from an R1 single family residential zone to C2 general commercial zone. So if I could have a motion to accept those planning commission resolutions.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Rackler, a second by Mr. Merrick. Is there any discussion? There's no discussion. So all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, motion carries. So moving now to our regular agenda, our first item will be resolution number PC 2024-2025-2, variance at 1311 East Brazos, submitted by Mr. Bailey for building a fence that does not meet municipal code. Mr. Rackner.
My concern on this one, and I just think we're treading on a thin ice when we start approving a 6-foot fence in the front yard, we're gonna get hammered with them all over town. We've stuck to that pretty rigidly, at least during my time on here, that we've not allowed a 6-foot fence. So I just wanted to hear more about it, why we're wanting to change that for this one, because I don't think it'll be the last if you do it.
Perfect. Will you go, and these might be a little bit out of order since we're pulling stuff off consent. So Ms. Chris, I'll tell you to go and when to stop. Go. Keep going. Keep going. After these ones.
It's the first one on your
Oh, perfect. Here we go.
on your.
So yes, this is a variance for 6-foot metal fence at 1311 East Brazos. Ms. Chris, you go to the next one. So part of the problem is this house faces differently than the other houses. So as you can see, it's this corner lot. So it is actually facing off of where everything else is facing off of. Oh my gosh, mine's really blurry. Off Brazos Street. Or they're all facing off of the other one. This one is facing off Brazos Street. So it makes it its technical front yard, but that's where technically their backyard is too. So that's kind of where they're having some issues. And that's where planning and zoning felt to go ahead and approve it, since their house facing a different direction is kind of what caused quite a bit of the confusion.
So, can you go back just a second? Where that little circle drive is that an alley or is that a? private
Yes,
drive?
that is an alley.
And that's my big concern when you come down that alley and trash truck or anything else. Or especially if not a trash truck, something smaller, you're gonna have a hard time seeing around that 6 foot fence.
They did actually bring that up at planning and zoning. They discussed the safety issue for it. And as you can see, it's pretty far back from the curb, and there's actually on the other side of the property, there's a fence that's even further forward across the alley. And so they felt since the other fence was further forward and we'd had no problems with that fence, that the safety issue on this fence wouldn't be an issue either.
That's kind of my concern, because you did it, I could do it. I would. Doing it again.
Did you say that the other fence was further forward?
Yes, so the
One below it.
yeah, so the fence here, they said was actually further out toward East Brazos than the fence that they are proposing to build.
And I know most people don't plan for it and don't think about it, but at any point we ever needed to widen Brazos. You're gonna have that thing enclosed and fences all the way around. I don't know, it's just. I'll be quiet.
Any other questions? or
So the
concerns?
U, excuse me, Mr. Mayor, the U is an alley then, so the fence is coming up to the alley?
Correct, yes. And so that's where their house is a bit funny. So this is the alley, so all of these properties face that way. Because this is a corner property, they actually face this way. So this is technically their side yard, but not really. It's where a backyard would be for a normal house. But yeah, that is an alley. They do, as you can see, access it for their property a lot, the side one, but that's really the only access. They said there's no dumpsters in that alley. There's no utilities that are frequented. The only person who uses it is the person, according to applicant, who lives on the other side of the alley.
Well, you've answered my questions, because I figured there had to be some reason why it would be approving a 6 foot fence, because we haven't done that in the past. So.
Further questions? Kelly? It's a pleasure to council.
I move that we approve a 6 foot fence. Resolution, EC 204-225-43.
I have a motion, I have a second. Second. Motion by Mr. Robinson, second by Mr. Merrick. Try this one. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed?
Aye.
I think that's a 3-1. Next one is item 3 on this one, resolution number PC 2024-2025-45, variance at 614 West 15th Street by Joseph Garcia for the purpose of maintaining a carport that does not meet municipal code.
So
Mr.
forward, I haven't seen that one yet. Forward more. Forward. Nope, one more back. Yeah, that's just the title page. Perfect. So this is for a site, for a carport that does not meet our ordinance. The gentleman did not realize that he needed a permit, so the carport is already up. So he is doing the back permit. If this is not approved, then he will have to take his carport down. You'll go. So they took a picture of, here's your site plan of where the carport's going to be. There is a picture of the actual carport, so you can see it. It is a bit bigger than we normally allow in the front yard. Usually this would be a backyard carport. Because the square footage is 750, and I believe it's usually a 500 square foot that we allow in the front. The setbacks is 6 feet from the curb and about 20 feet from both sides of either property line. And the reason for putting it up is hail damage, is they've had some hail damage to their vehicles. We'll go one more. And then, so this, of course, went through the public hearing. No one was against it, and it was approved 4 and 0 against.
Questions for Ms. McClellan?
I don't know that it's really a question. It's the same concept as the last one where, you know, given an exception to be closer to the street when we have an ordinance that says how close you can be to the street. I recently built one for the very same reason, but I had to shorten it up shorter than I wanted to make it to fit the backside. So
You probably also got a permit.
I did, which I think is required.
What's our normal setback?
The normal setback for his zone would be, it's usually 5 feet off the inside of a sidewalk or 10 feet off the curb. So he is at 6 feet from the inside of the curb, so he's 4 feet short.
And there's an alley to be the east.
Ms. Chris, we back up to the picture. Yes, I believe that is an alley.
So the trash truck driver is gonna be the one that's gonna have the issue with that, because that's probably just about cat high. Most vehicles are gonna be able to see underneath it. But he's already got it built.
We do send letters to utilities. We didn't receive a protest from trash.
Did not?
We did not. But we didn't receive response from them, so.
You
We didn't
did
get
receive a response from it.
We did not receive response from utilities, so we didn't get a big thumbs up or a big thumbs down either way.
Well, my question, if you guys are done, this reading more, is if the council doesn't approve this, we have to tear it down.
So his options will make it come into compliance, which will be, make it meet the setbacks and make it smaller. He'll probably have to have a contractor come do that. I think it was just a pre-manufactured one, or to tear it down and replace it with a compliant one.
So his expense then would just be moving the poles back.
Yes, and making it a little bit smaller because his variance covers the size and the setback.
Much of the expense to him, if that happens.
Correct. That's what we'd be looking for as planning and zoning for whichever way he could bring that into compliance.
Portion, did that come up in planning and zoning, possibility of him retrofitting this?
No, they did not discuss the possibility of him changing it. They just move forward with it as is.
Well, I'm kind of like Mr. Rapper. It kind of aggravates me that, you know, you don't get a permit, you don't know what the rules are, and then you go, I'm sorry, I've already built it.
Still adage.
Yeah, don't ask for permission.
That's pertaining to them.
I put my hand in the cookie jar and I didn't know no cookies was there.
So there's, of course, this is just. How do we get it out that you have to get a permit? I mean, obviously, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if it would go through the contractor or if he did it himself. But letting them know, okay. And I hate to do this and agree with what they're saying, but up to this point, it's like, I'm gonna go ahead and do it. Oh gee, I forgot, I was supposed to get a permit. We approve it and the next person down the road says, oh, I'm not gonna pretend I don't know. But if we say, no, this is what the ordinance reads, this is what you have to do, and I hate to say, but like use as an example, like, okay, wait, you knew better. Somehow, I don't know how you didn't, I don't know.
This one,
I know Mr. Garcia is here and he can explain, but I just don't know. The missing the permit and the not knowing the setbacks is really bothersome.
yeah, so that's whatever you guys would like to do, we'll enforce whatever your will is either way.
Anyone ready to make a motion?
I am.
Mr. Robinson, what's your motion?
My motion is that we not approve PC 224-2025-45 variance. Joseph Garcia and have him to reset his carport.
You have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second,
I have a motion and a second. Everybody understand the motion? Okay.
yes.
We'll try this way. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Next one is resolution number PC 2024-2025-46, special use permit at 42-467 US Highway 70, submitted by the Dimension Group on behalf of Circle K for the purpose of selling packaged liquor.
Go forward. I think it might be the next one. One more. Yes, perfect. So I believe, don't quote me, I believe the people on Zoom are here for this one. So I think I recognize the names from our public hearing last time. But so what this is this is the piece of property right before Walmart. That empty piece of property. They're looking at putting a special K here. And they would like to sell Circle K, sorry. We're not putting that.
It's a cereal.
It's all I'm hungry, I haven't had dinner yet. They're looking to put a Circle K there and they would like to sell packaged alcohol there, kind of similar to how All Subs and Stripes sell alcohol. Here is kind of an outline of what they're looking at having that was submitted to us. One more. I think so. Yep. Again, we sent these out. We didn't receive any protests against it. If you have any questions for me, I will do my best to answer them. And if not, I said I'm pretty sure the people on here are for this application.
I think my question was more related to the liquor license. Are we not bound to a certain number of licenses for the municipality?
It's my understanding that there are certain licenses available throughout the state that you can move from one place to another. And if you have the other kind of liquor license, it can only stay in Portales. But these others can move from community to community. So if it's that kind of license, then they can bring that to this community. That's, if you remember when Chad Heflin's liquor license, the one he sold to Allsup's was one of those kind of liquor licenses that they moved out of the county.
It was packaged.
Right.
And so that's, even if we had a limit, that would still put it back where we were.
Well, I mean,
But we don't have a limit as a human,
well, if they have one of those kinds of licenses, they're able to bring it in.
whether we have one.
I mean, when this first came, they've changed this ever since, if you remember when we first went wet, we were limited to 5
Yeah.
of our population.
Right.
Right.
But that's.
And the state's changed the laws to move these licenses around. In some part for reasons just like, you know, a Hilton Garden Inn, a convenience store that wants to go in a community.
I'm all for more businesses than with things.
Do we know which license they have?
Says,
Hey guys, this is Molly and Olivia with Circle K. Just to confirm, we do have a liquor license we're planning on transferring over to the store.
And ma'am, is it one of those, it's one of the liquor licenses that can be anywhere in the state?
Yes, sir, that's correct. It's a retail license.
Okay. Any other questions?
no, I'm good with it.
If there's no further questions, what's the pleasure of the council on this special use permit?
Resolution number PC 2024202546.
Yeah, I believe I heard a second from Mr. Rackler. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign, motion carries. Thank you, folks, for being on.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now we're going to move to additional action items, once again from Community Services. And the first one is appeal of denied resolution number PC 2024-2025-43, submitted by Fluffman Outdoor Media for the purpose of building and maintaining a billboard at 100 North Chicago. Request approval of the City Council appeal resolution number 2020-25-18. Ms. McCullough.
Perfect. Thank you, Mayor Council. Everything we just looked at was from planning and zoning that was approved. This came from planning and zoning. It was denied. So they're using their appeal process to bring it to you to see if you will overturn planning and zoning's decision. Let's Chris, we go to the next page. So they're looking for a billboard very similar to all the ones we have on the outskirts of town, and they'd like to put it, this is gonna be the Pat's building. And so they'd like to put it in front of Pat's along North Chicago, so you'd be able to see it. It did go to commission, and it was denied unanimously. Their concern was that's a very busy stretch of street. They talked about how the high school there's that merge in that corner, and they felt like they had also denied one semi close to here around the corner by Daylight Donuts. And so they felt that it was right to move forward and deny this. If you have any questions, I will do my best to help answer those.
Questions for Ms. McClellan?
Well, I have one. This seems exactly the same size as the one at O'Reilly is a block away. Which seems odd that we're denying one a block from here. We allowed one.
All I know is that didn't come up at thing. They just said, due to the traffic and due to how close it was to the ones they denied at Daylight Donuts.
When was the daylight though?
Daylight Donuts came a while ago.
But they haven't appealed that one.
They did not reappeal that one, no. That one they. Cause that one was the concern of the corner of the turn, the backed up traffic. So they felt they didn't want to appeal that one, but they do want to appeal this one.
Cause these are high enough off the ground. It's not efficient.
I can add to this a little bit. We had a committee meeting, this little lady and myself and the morning and I think who else was there? Kind of went over the ordinance that regulates our billboards in town, had kind of made revisions to it. And one of the things that we talked about from certain areas of town were to not allow anything bigger than a 10 by 10 or a 100 square foot billboard type sign. And then there were some things added in there about off premises signs. Being able to advertise if there was agreeable between one business and another one that there was a property owner. If they could do off premises signs, but they would still have to conform to that size. There had been concern in the past about basically filling the Portales with billboards, and this was a way of still being able to advertise, but to cut down the size of the billboard. So I think that, I don't know when that's ready to come to the council for approval, but
We finished the final draft with the committees, and then it'll soon be going to Ms. Rudd for legal review. And as soon as it's done, they'll come to council for final acceptance and or revisions.
so that might be an option for them later on. It'd just be a smaller sign. Because the way I read this, they were doing 10 by 25 double
Yeah.
stack.
Yes.
Further questions for Ms. McClellan? What's the pleasure of the council? Options are to overturn the decision by the planning and zoning, or to uphold that decision.
I would make a motion to uphold the decision. Second.
Motion by Mr. Merrick, second by Mr. Robinson. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion, everybody understands the motion, we're upholding the planning commission decision. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, motion carries. Okay. The next item is ratification of grant PRZ 2502, installation of wind cone and PAPI's whatever, RWY 0119.
Thank you, Mayor Council. So this is, every year we do a certain number of projects at the airport. It's part of our CIP, which is our construction improvement plan. Most of it is funded through federal and state governments. And that's the point, is to keep our airport in compliance. So the project for this year is replace the wind cone and PAPI's. We actually approved this last year. This project was supposed to be last year, but the bid came in high. And there wasn't enough money to fund it. So it got moved to this year. So this year, this is what the new grant is going to cover, is a total of $884,647. You can see the breakdown. The city match is only $4,428. And this is going to replace our wind cone, which is very old, completely replaced with an eternally lit wind cone. We have PAPI's, but they're completely non-functioning now. So they're going to remove it.
What is a PAPI?
Thank you.
So, okay. I don't remember exactly what.
RWY means runway. I figured that
Perfect.
one out just a-
So a PAPI is a navigational piece of equipment. When you're coming in, you can see certain lights and it lets you know what your elevation is. So when you hit the runway, you hit it at you're coming down the correct elevation pretty much.
Whenever you're coming in on certain light flow, it will have 2 red lines, 2 white lines. If you're on the proper light flow, if you've got 4 red lights, you're too low. If you got 4 white lights, you're too high. So it keeps you in the proper light flow to make it right.
Thank you.
So ours are non-functioning. We just don't have them. So they're going to take the old ones, they're going to replace them with the new ones. They all to remove all the existing system and then replace the existing system, which can be a little expensive because we're doing wiring. And then we have something called a segmented circle, which is the airport marker system. And they're just going to repaint that. Nothing terribly interesting on that one. Ms. Christie, go to the next one. It says, so actually go back. So that is for the bid. So we would just like permission to ratify this grant. It had to be signed by yesterday. So it got signed yesterday. So we're looking for ratification of signature today.
Questions?
Mr. Mayor, this question don't relate to what you presented.
Well, then we're not gonna listen.
Okay. But it's related to airports. That's a disturbing study just been released by the federal government that all airports runways are in danger. But the planes landed could turn over because the airports are uneven. What is the status of our airport?
So our airport runways were just redone 6 years ago, I think 2018, 2022, 2020. We had the FAA come by and they do it, and our runways are flawless. They said our runways don't have cracks. They said they're just fantastic. You're supposed to do runway maintenance every couple of years. And it was actually a discussion if we needed the required maintenance because the runways were in such good condition. If you ever want to come see them, they're beautiful. I'm very proud of our runways.
They just made this national big alert about all these airports being closed. I don't want to fly to Washington DC because I might hit a bump.
Oh, 100%, but ours has passed with flying colors, especially when it comes to our runways.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for Ms. McClellan on this issue? The 4,400 is budgeted.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Merrick, second by Ms. Parker to approve. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Next item is acceptance of notice of bid to Bixby Electric Incorporated for their total bid of $693,772.54.
Perfect. Thank you. So anytime we do a project this big, we do have to go through the RFP to make sure we're following procurement rules. So we went to bid for this project that we just approved the grant. Bixby is our only applicant. He's the only person who they bid. And this was their bid. It was $693,772.54. It was higher than we had originally budgeted for, but the FAA and MDOT agreed to pay the difference. And that breakdown is what we just saw earlier. We do recommend approval. As I said, it's a very specialized process and there's not a lot of companies who can do it, which is why we weren't surprised to only see one bidder.
They out of state.
Bixby is located in Albuquerque.
Why does that number not match the 800,000?
Perfect. So this is just for construction. The 884,000 also puts in, we have consultants who help us manage the construction projects because airports have ridiculous standards that we have to meet. So the grant covers the additional costs that aren't covered, that just aren't construction related.
Further questions? It's a pleasure.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Rackler, second by Mr. Merrick. There's no further discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Next item is acceptance of contract with Bixby Electric Incorporated for grant number PRZ-25-1. Congruent on acceptance of grant PRC 25-1 or 25-1 and notice of award. Now I'm really confused.
So perfect. So the notice of award is just a preliminary saying we choose to go with them. This is saying we've looked over the contract and we'd actually like to do a contract with them. So it's all these different steps we have to do. So this would be accepting the actual contract. legal looked it over. We didn't submit it in your packet because it is quite sizable, but we did have legal read it over, and it's very boilerplate. It's just saying we're holding them to their bid. They have to do, because we have the DBE, that they're gonna do their DBE stuff, for the disenfranchised business enterprises, that they're gonna do state wages, all that fun jazz. It's just holding them to the federal and, state standards, but saying they're gonna do the work for the agreed upon price.
Legal.
It's a
Everything.
good sleep after that.
Why you get the big bucks? Just one question. And you both will understand this. Does it say that any dispute will be settled in the 9th Judicial District? Or does it say there's a dispute, where do we go to court? Okay, federal court, that makes sense. Okay. But it would be in this federal district, probably, right? No. That's just something. Yeah. I want to make sure we always do, so. That's my whole question. Any other questions? What's pleasure to council?
Motion to accept the contract.
Motion by Mr. Merrick, second by Ms. Parker. There's no further discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Pose like sign. That motion carries. Thank you, Kelly. I appreciate it. Next is finance. Ms. Rivera, approval of resolution 2025-19 for fiscal year 2025 governed fixed assets.
Good evening, council. The resolution before you is an annual formality and compliance for the certification of our assets. The resolution and asset report are included in your agenda. Please know that we will continue to work closely with department heads to update and make any necessary changes to our list, including any disposals and such as we work through this. I will stand for any questions.
Questions for Ms. Rivera? I'm sorry, go ahead.
On page 1, under legislative.
Okay.
The second to the last item there says welcome to Palestine.
Is that the one over stripes that I brought up to city council, to the city manager?
That's why I was going to
Is
question.
that the one?
I wouldn't call it that this year much, but.
I will have to find out. I don't have the details of that asset with me, but I can certainly find out for you.
Cause I was approached by a chamber about that sign and, well, actually I approached chamber hoping it was their sign to be fair, and they let me know it wasn't. So, that one that was in front of stripes that tells you how many restaurants, how many hotels, it was really nice when it was in good shape, but it fell down.
You said in front of stripes?
Yes, stripes on 18.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's the same side I'm at.
Yeah, because the guy across the street, Mr. Shelley had agreed to make something, chamber got some quotes and it wasn't, that big.
What is that sign on Trusa?
That was Altrusa.
No.
That wasn't,
Altrusa was the one further down.
No, but that one
It
got
was
Trusa as well.
you remember that from years ago,
Yeah.
Frank King was still here
Right.
with us.
Yeah, the one is
Yes, it was asked Altrusa, which was the girls' high school. Astra was the Astra group. So it was, it was not the chamber, it was Altrusa's
And it's not
subsidiary Astra, so it would be,
And it's not ours.
it wasn't the cities.
Right.
Unless, so I don't know what happened, so it was,
I know, but the property is half on the property, I believe, and half not on our property, but plan was to try to get it cleaned up at least. And we go from there, so one of the things was try to identify who actually hold the sign.
That's helpful, right? That one of them.
Yeah.
right, and of course, that was clear before, that was still a vacant lot. Clear lot when Altrusa and Astra put it up, so it was
And
something,
didn't it say at one point,
it did.
did it say something about Altrusa or Astra?
Oh, yeah, it was
At
a
the
really
bottom
neat
of it.
sign, and of course,
Really great.
yeah,
It really was.
so I don't know if
But that one's not ours.
somebody from Altrusa wants to be notified and.
Can we find that
The
out?
city did clean it up, that was nice.
Mr.
So,
Steve, if we'll do that.
yeah, so we can
Oh.
try to figure it out.
Let's hear from our county clerk for a minute here. Since
Also, President Altusa. And that was an Altusa Astra project. We did the fundraising, we did not own the stock. And I did some research on it just recently because Raylene called from the chamber. because I'm using it with the chamber. So that is owned by the city. But fundraising was done by Astra and Altusa and Chamber of Commerce and all of that kind of thing. But this is not the final question. The final question is the one that was hit by a truck over by Mental Health Resources. That's the Portales sign that came off of your asset. Two separate signs. Both at a tragic end. And I'm just, Altusa would be willing to help fundraise for new lovely signs and so.
what can we use lodger's tax for that? Promotional.
So the city did.
You know, I saw the mayor of Reynosa driving a nice Tahoe the other day and he said, yeah, lodger's tax bought that. I mean, it had Renosol on the side of it, but I don't know why we couldn't fix the sign and make it look nice and promotes Portales. So
We can definitely look into it and see.
perfectly fair, yeah.
Lodger's tax funds sign for the university stadium.
Yeah. Anyway. Just a thought.
Good. Okay, got that.
Okay. Any other questions for Ms. Rivera?
No.
Okay, what's the pleasure of the council in approving resolution 2025-19 for fiscal year 2025?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Parker, second by Mr. Robinson. Ms. Swopes, will you call the roll?
Yes, sir. Mr. Robinson,
Yes.
Mr. Rackler,
Yes.
Mr. Merrick,
Yes.
and Ms. Parker.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The last action item is discussion and approval of a 30-day extension for the contract for the interim city manager. We did this month by month. I believe there's some changes and Mr. Gallegos. The changes are in red, is that correct? And Ms. Rudd, you went over this as well.
In red, I think that was actually an accident, but it kind of works in our favor because you guys can see just the very minor changes, just a couple of corrections, but the substance of the contract is still the same.
Questions?
I have one, Mr. Mayor.
I think.
Hold on,
Portion.
hold on. Got one down here.
Oh,
Mr. Rackler.
play by yourself and then you come and run over.
My question is, 1 month from tonight, if that's when we're passing it, and maybe I missed it in the contract, but we're gonna have several days there before Mr. Mitten comes on board, and we didn't want to do that last time, so you started right away. Can we make it 34 days or whatever it is to get to that date, or am I missing a date somewhere?
I don't have the other contract, but I think the date was like the 24th.
Okay,
But I'm not sure.
I just didn't want us to be in that pickle again when we didn't have sitting there for a week, then we have a tornado or something. That you got to
You never know.
jump all over. And you did fabulous with it. That's my only question.
Well, Mr. Rackler and well, let's look at this. Look at section 10.
Okay.
By signature here too, Mr. Gallegos, he'd be serving in the capacity of member secretary for up to 30 days or until the full-time city manager
Okay.
position is filled and notice to contractor has been provided. Does that cover your concern? Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing none, what's the pleasure of the council?
So move.
Motion by Mr. Robinson. Did you have a question first?
No, I didn't have a question. I want to make a comment about Mr. Gallegos.
Okay, then we can make that after we have the motion.
Make the
Okay.
motion.
So Mr. Robinson made the motion, Mr. Rackler seconded the motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
All right,
Opposed, like sign, motion carries. That concludes our action items. Our next item is, well, would you like to make your comment now?
yes, Mr. Gallegos he's doing a very good job. He's been on top of everything. His response to certain criticisms that come to the city, some kind of way Mr. Gallegos rather, get right to the bottom of it. For example, there had been a leak on US 70 for 3 years. All of a sudden, we fixing that leak only because Mr. Gallegos went into that, and I appreciate that, Pat, because that leak has been going on forever on US 70. Now we can get that fixed, and the highway will get fixed. But that's the kind of action Mr. Gallegos has been brought to the table, and I appreciate it. Thank you much.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Robinson.
Ditto.
Yeah.
Well done, sir.
All right, this is time for staff and council comments. I'll start with the staff. Chief Williams.
Just real briefly, we have a company that finally got something going for us. Certain calls that come out, we'll have text messages sent to the caller, they're calling from a cell phone, to do a survey as to the service that they received from the police department. So it's not a scam, it's just to answer questions kind of thing. We're gonna get some more info on it out. I just got it today, it's finally coming after quite some time.
Okay. Thank you. Chief Kathy. Steve?
Desert West will be starting roads on Monday.
Okay, would you give us a quick update on where we're at and which roads are and how they're, because we got a lot going on over there.
It's a whole list. You want him out here? 29 roads.
Can you just get that maybe we can email out to the council so we're all aware of what they are and what the projected start dates are? I appreciate that. Thank you. Ms. Rivera? Ms. McVeigh? Intern? Ms. Swopes?
I'll try and be really brief. I just want all city council members to please hold off leading after the meeting. So since this was approved, the resolution that was presented by Ms. Rivera, we just need your signatures.
I've got that on here and I'll pass it around right
Okay.
now.
Wonderful. And then there's a couple of MOLI classes that are available. And if you're interested in attending the MOLI 1 or the MOLI 2, let us know. And we're happy as the clerks to get you registered so that you can attend some municipal officers classes.
Can you send the dates on that, Molly?
I will send an email. I've got it here in front of me, but it's hard to remember. So if you'd rather,
Yes.
I will send an email to you.
That'd be great. And also for those in the audience, MOLI stands for Municipal Officers Leadership Institute. And I highly recommend if you haven't attended to it's pretty good education for us.
And I just want to say a quick thank you and appreciation to Ms. Park, Mrs. Parks for being here and giving the information. That was on my list of things to do, but she took care of it for me, and I appreciate that.
That all?
I think so, yes.
What about your deputy? You have anything? Okay. What about the attorneys? I'll go to you last. Nothing? Okay. Mr. Gallegos.
Well, I just want to say I appreciate the praise, but I can't take all of it. You know, the city employees are the ones that do a lot of work, so we can actually take care of this. The project by US Bank, just had a little fun. They did find a leak and it's working on repairs. I'm not sure if they got it repaired as of yet. So hopefully that will be complete. The repair will be done this week, so we're working on fixing the road. And so is, I think we're just waiting on a couple of things to close up the whole one by the bus one for that. And that should be closed up soon and all the things.
Okay. Anything else?
Appreciate it.
Okay. I forgot IT and HR. I'm sorry. You guys are kind of in that corner over there. Nothing?
Nothing's up.
Okay, maybe I felt that. All right, Mr. Rackler.
Just a couple things. I did want to brag on Mr. Chavez, that the way you guys handled that deal in front of Ace, that big hole, and the way you had to handle that and even move some traffic around for one of those big, huge things coming through town. You guys did a great job across the street. So I was seeing that pretty close up, and I thought they did a really, really great job of handling that, and it was back up and open really quickly. So I appreciate that. The other thing, and I meant to have it on the agenda, but I would like to recommend that we have a special meeting to discuss mission and vision for our city manager before he comes on, because that was one of the main things our last one pointed out that I really felt resonated on his exit interview. So I'd like for us to get together. I don't think it would have to be a terribly long meeting, but I think we need to get together as a council and come up with a vision and mission for it. So he knows where we as a council want to go.
It's a good idea. Thank you, Mike. Anything else? No, sir. Ms. Parker,
No, thank you.
Mr. Merritt.
Couple questions. So Steve, you might be able to answer this. I've kind of asked around and nobody really wants to fess up to it, but who's in charge of the medians for Highway 70?
It's supposed to be the state and the university, but we did it one time.
So, like out here on past Chicago where it goes back to 70s.
Yep.
All the trees that were planted out there that have died. Was that done by grants or?
That was done way before me, so I'm not sure.
I think it probably was. It probably done even before me. That's all the time. So
The reason I ask is there's an entity that's interested in having those removed and then supplying us with some metal art, like maybe some cacti or something like that to put in its place. Because there's not any water system along those medians to water those trees. And I think there was one individual that had been going out there and hand watering buckets for a while, but they've since died. So I think it's something we need to try to find out if that's something we can do. We may just have to get in touch with the district highway department.
I'll do that. I'll get a hold of him and see what the deal is. And, I met with somebody about this as well, and I think we need to get, whatever we decided, we need their approval on it.
Right.
But I think that, I got some pictures here, some suggestions that are really dress things up, especially coming in. Yeah. So glad you brought that up.
And just in town in general, there's several places I'd like to see us try to get cleaned up if we could, just to make it more presentable as people drive through town. But something for the future.
What, I have a question, excuse me, on that, what did we used to do? Was it through the chamber, like when Woody was here, and was it the Clean and Beautiful? That we used to have grants that we would go in, or was it when New Mexico? Can't remember which organization would come in. Randy, remind me.
Oh, Main Street.
New Mexico Main Street, they would come in and they would help do different things with our.
I think there's several ways we can do this. I think the one thing that first and foremost is we get direction from the highway department. Because I know when they were talking about planting more trees, there's a requirement that can't be over a certain diameter, for safety reasons and all of that. And, so
I know when you go out by Eastern, that median through there, they put a lot of plants and things through there, and some of those are starting to get kind of overgrown.
Yeah.
Need a lot of maintenance, and I just didn't know who was in charge of maintaining that and spraying for weeds.
that may have been what happened to our trees.
Yeah, it could be, but I mean, the median's not really wide enough for somebody to park and start walking down the median pulling weeds without blocking off the
Right.
aside, so.
We still have Main Street organizations, see, that's no longer. So a lot of these organizations that we once had are no longer, therefore New Mexico Main Street is not.
I've been approached that there's some people that would like to start Main Street back up, and I think it would be a good idea.
Yes,
But
definitely.
I think when Danny left and Steve got whatever, that people just kind of lost interest, but I know Camille's real interested in it again.
Chambers.
Because I think it's chamber, I think we're gonna have a new business, hopefully this weekend, open up down. So. If they get their fire inspection done. They plan on opening this weekend, which would be good since Gus Macker's gonna be here. Anything else, Mr. Mayor? Sorry.
I don't know why he was talking to you about the fire inspection, you're not in charge of that.
Yeah, but he's got connections. He can help. So,
Yeah, we do have Gus Macker coming this weekend. And we're gonna have the air show.
Are you refereeing?
No.
Okay.
We're gonna have the air show coming to Roswell. Air races. So that'll be another big event, and people here need to be ready for it also, because there's gonna be a lot of overflow. Hotel rooms and things like that coming out this way, so. That's all I have.
Okay. Mr. Robinson, not a thing. I'd like to echo Pat, you've done a great job. I appreciate it. You responded every time I called you. Steve, thank you for today. I just mentioned it the next time they're on Main Street right there at Main and University, there was looked like there'd been a couple of bombs dropped and there was some big old potholes, and drove by there a while ago and he's already got up there and fixed them. So, and there was one that was pretty sizable. So I appreciate that. I'm still I've got to talk to two more people that have expressed interest in this position down here. Hopefully, maybe we can get that filled at our next meeting. So, but these people wanted to visit with me about it, and I just haven't had a chance for today. So, hopefully that'll be on the agenda next week. We didn't scare you off, did we? Yet, Mr. Minton?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anyway, well, if there's no further comment, we're adjourned.